They built cold air from the desert. A city surrounded by burning desert heat somehow stayed cool for over 1,000 years, without electricity, without fans, and without modern air conditioning. In the middle of Iran, where summer temperatures climb above 46 degrees Celsius, people created a system so intelligent that even today many homes still depend on it instead of electric cooling. The secret was not hidden inside machines. It was hidden inside the walls. In the ancient desert city of Yazd, massive towers rise above the rooftops like silent chimneys watching over the city from every direction. These structures are called Badgirs, also known as wind catchers, and they are one of the greatest engineering ideas ever created for survival in extreme heat. The landscape around the city looks almost impossible for human life. Dry, cracked earth, endless dust storms, and almost no rainfall throughout the year. Yet for centuries, people lived here comfortably long before electricity was ever invented. The hottest days could reach temperatures that feel unbearable enough to destroy modern cities if power systems failed. But inside these ancient homes, the air remained cool, calm, and breathable, while outside the desert burned under the sun. What makes this even more shocking is that these structures were designed around the 8th century using nothing more than clay geometry, airflow, and an understanding of nature that modern architecture almost forgot. The Badgir works like a giant breathing system for the building. Tall openings at the top of the tower face the direction of the wind. When hot desert air moves across the city, the tower captures it and forces it downward into the house, creating natural ventilation without using a single watt of power. But the real genius begins underground. Many of these buildings connect to ancient underground water tunnels, known as Qanats. These hidden channels carried cool water beneath the city, for kilometers protected from the brutal heat above. As the captured wind travels downward through the tower, it passes across this cold underground water system. The air instantly cools before entering the rooms. The result feels almost impossible. A natural air conditioning system built over 1,000 years ago, using only wind water and gravity, no noise, no fuel, no electric bills. No dependence on fragile power grids. Even more impressive, the system still works when there is no wind at all. During the day, hot air inside the house naturally rises upward. Because heat always moves toward cooler areas, the tower begins acting like a chimney, pulling hot air out of the building through the top. This creates continuous airflow that removes trapped heat while drawing cooler air inside from lower openings. The entire structure becomes a self-regulating climate machine powered completely by physics. The homes themselves were also designed for survival. Most buildings in Yazd were built using Adobe, a material made from clay mud and straw. These thick earth walls absorb heat very slowly. During the daytime, the walls block the desert heat from entering the home, and during the cold desert nights they slowly release stored warmth back inside. This creates a natural thermal battery effect, keeping temperatures stable, even when the outside environment changes violently between day and night. The shape of the buildings mattered too. Many rooftops were built as domes instead of flat surfaces, because domes reduce direct heat exposure and improve internal air circulation. Small openings near the top allow trapped heat to escape while maintaining constant airflow. Throughout the structure, every curve, every wall, and every tower served a purpose. Nothing was decorative by accident. This was architecture designed like survival technology. And the craziest part is that modern cities are now rediscovering these ancient ideas because our glass towers and concrete buildings are becoming energy-hungry machines that depend completely on air conditioning systems. Today, cooling systems consume enormous amounts of global electricity, especially in rapidly growing cities, where temperatures continue to rise each year. If electrical grids fail during extreme heat, modern buildings can become dangerous within hours. But ancient desert architecture solved this problem centuries ago. Instead of fighting nature, these structures worked with it. Instead of sealing buildings shut, they allowed them to breathe. Instead of depending on machines, they depended on airflow pressure, evaporation, and thermal mass. Archaeologists believe early versions of wind catchers may date back more than 3,000 years. Ancient paintings discovered near modern-day Egypt show triangular rooftop structures that strongly resemble early cooling towers built to capture moving air. Over time, these ideas spread across North Africa, West Asia, and parts of India, with each culture adapting the design to local climates and wind patterns. Some towers became directional, capturing wind.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.
From one side, while others were built with multiple openings to catch airflow from every direction. Different regions created different versions, but the goal remained the same: survive the heat without wasting energy. And now, modern engineers are beginning to realize how advanced these ancient systems truly were. New sustainable buildings around the world are starting to borrow ideas directly from Badgirs, using passive cooling, double-skin ventilation systems, and airflow engineering inspired by ancient desert cities. Even modern skyscrapers are experimenting with natural ventilation concepts that reduce electricity usage and lower internal temperatures without depending entirely on mechanical cooling. In places where energy is limited, these ideas are becoming more important than ever. Schools built in remote deserts now use passive cooling systems inspired by ancient wind catchers because they continue working even during blackouts, extreme heat, and infrastructure failure. That is what makes this technology so powerful. It was never designed for convenience. It was designed for resilience, for survival, for a world where nature could not be controlled. And maybe that is why these ancient systems feel so futuristic today. Because modern architecture became obsessed with glass, steel, and machines while forgetting the most important engineering principle of all: the environment itself can become the machine if you understand how to use it. The people who built these cities did not have computers, electric fans, or climate control systems, but they understood airflow. They understood heat. They understood the movement of nature better than many modern buildings ever will. And standing in the middle of the desert, surrounded by towers that still cool homes after 1,000 years, one thing becomes impossible to ignore. Sometimes the future was already invented long ago.